Brad Beard, POGO's senior physio and also founder. I'd like to talk to you today about the key or chief causes of running injuries. Running is an incredibly and ever increasingly popular sport, hobby and pastime. In fact, we're actually in the second running boom. Numbers of participation are skyrocketing. As exciting as this is, we're also seeing an explosion of running injuries. As a physiotherapist and an avid runner myself, the bulk of what I do and see in a physiotherapy week inside POGO is helping injured runners return to running pain and injury free. In order to do that, we need to discover for each runner what their unique contributing factors are. Everybody's different, so every solution is slightly different as well. What's interesting, however, is that there exists 5 key factors or causes of running injuries that, irrespective of the running injury or condition, will exist. They're considerations that must be looked at, assessed, and effectively instructed around in order for you or the injured runner to run pain and injury free. Let's take a look at what these are. The first cause of running injuries is your body. Now by that I mean, what is your body like? I make an analogy to my injured runners that their body is like the chassis of a car. Just like a car, if there was any defects or imperfections or inefficiencies in that vehicle, then the car won't run well. Now the same is true with our bodies. There's a couple of steps that we take runners through when we're looking at their body, and the first is what I call a running screening. This running screen is designed to look for any tight areas, any weak areas, and any abnormalities that sit outside what we know the body needs to be like in order to run pain and injury free. The second consideration when it comes to your running body as a cause of your running injury is your mobility status. Your mobility status refers in its simplest form to how mobile or flexible you are around your joints. There's 2 sorts of mobility, the hypermobile person or the hypomobile person. Now I do that with my hand because that's a simple test, one of several that we put runners through in order to determine what their natural mobility status or their genetic mobility status is. And interestingly, depending on what your status is, will largely determine the direction that we approach your running injury through. This mini YouTube clip is certainly not going to unpack that, so that's something we'll come back to at a later stage. So the first key cause of running injuries is your body. Remember, that's your running chassis and also your natural mobility status. The second cause of running injuries is runner's technique. This is a massive area. In fact, I've been running what we call the Run 101 POGO workshops for many years now. And that's a forum where I take runners, whether they're injured or uninjured, and I teach them the 7 key principles to great running technique. These principles will help runners to run pain and injury free, and the other nice thing is faster. Now, some of these keys include things like checking your cadence or turnover rate, your body position, and minimizing bobbing up and down, to name just a few. But quite simply, if you're not running with good technique, you're doing yourself a big disadvantage and potentially putting your body in harm's way. So that represents a major cause of running injuries. The third cause of running injuries is your shoes. Many people run in inappropriate footwear. The biggest problems are shoes that are too old, that no longer offer support, and also shoes that just don't match your foot type. This is another big area that I'm not going to unpack fully in this mini clip. However, just to touch on shoes that don't match people's foot type, I need to stress that it's important to have an expert recommend the right shoe for you. Now, in recommending the right shoe, it extends beyond what foot sort you have or what foot type you have, and the best shoe recommendation should actually take into account your whole running body, your running goals, your running background, your injury history, and many other things. The other chief problem there that I mentioned before with running shoes is running with shoes that are too old. When this occurs, there's extra load on the lower limb, and this will have an adverse effect on your injury risk, and it can go incredibly high as a result of running in old shoes. The fourth key is very problematic when it comes to running injuries. I've termed it your training errors. Now, what does this phrase, training error, actually mean? In its simplest form, training errors refers to the mistakes, the errors that you as a runner make in your training. Now, this is another big area that I could cover in an entirely separate YouTube clip. For the essence of today, what I want to share with you is just a couple of training errors that are very common. The first is one that any passionate runner has most likely succumbed to at some stage, and that is doing too much too soon after an injury. Another cause of training error or type of training error is just doing too much in general, too much volume. As runners, we often mistake the fact that we want to run further in order to improve. We think that improvement can only come through doing that, harder training sessions and longer runs. It isn't the case, particularly if you haven't yet addressed and developed great technique. Another key training error is failing to rest. I've written articles over this over the years, and I've called one of them the power of the rest session. Rest is so important, but it's so tragically often overlooked. Your body needs to rest in order to be able to recover from the loads that repetitive running creates. Training errors. The last common cause of running injuries that, as I said at the start, overlaps any condition or any running injury is your body weight. This can often be a delicate conversation that's had with runners that are injured. However, as a physio, I feel a very strong responsibility to ensure that my injured runners get a full and complete outcome. And if that means that I need to discuss with them sensitively and with compassion their body weight, then that's what I'll do. To put it into context, your body weight will increase loads on the lower limbs and therefore your injury risk if it's in excess of its ideal frame weight. This frame weight is a concept that I've coined that basically just refers to your ideal body weight. So if you're 5 kilos, 2 kilos, 10, 20 or even 30 kilos over your ideal frame weight, you can just imagine the excess stress, strain and load that that's putting on your legs. With that increase in load and stress goes an increase in injury risk. So, to summarize, runners, dear runners, fellow runners, there are 5 chief causes of running injuries: your body, your technique, your shoes, your training errors, and your body weight. If you're recovering from running injuries and you're not addressing these 5 common causes, then you potentially will not get a complete outcome. If, on the other hand, you're not recovering from an injury, you're just simply looking to take out insurance, as I like to say, to not get injured, then you too need to heed these 5 areas or 5 causes of running injuries. I hope this has been of some help. I wish you all the very best with your running, and don't forget to have daily fun.